The world we live in is undoubtedly amazing. When you keenly observe and consider the attractive sceneries around us coupled with several life forms, you'd ultimately conclude that our world is a mural of aesthetic perfection. Though our world is a beautiful place, certain places exist in it that are rather outlandish and esoteric. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing the top 10 scientifically impossible places that actually exist. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more intriguing videos like this, and be sure to watch this video to the end. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Number 10. Sea of Stars. A glistening beach might as well be described as heaven on earth. The Maldives' Vadhu Island's sparkling coastlines are illuminated by a blue nighttime glow. Although only 500 people are living on the island, visitors from all over the world travel there to take in the natural dazzle of the Sea of Stars. According to scientists, a chemical process known as bioluminescence is what gives the water its dazzling properties. Dinoflagellates are a species of phytoplankton found in the Sea of Stars. Researchers that study the organisms discovered that the dinoflagellate's ability to lighten the water is due to a cell membrane that responds to electrical impulses. Depending on how the plankton evolved throughout the year, you'll be able to notice a different degree of light when you visit the Maldives. Additionally, it depends on the weather conditions at the time of your visit. Number 9. Lake Hillier. Whoever stated that water is blue must not have known about Australia's Lake Hillier. This lake, which has a tint similar to bubblegum, was found in 1802 by British explorer and mapper Matthew Flinders. This water's brilliant hue is permanent. It retains its coloring even after being collected and stored in a container. This lake is unique since no one can definitively explain why it appears pink, despite scientific speculation that it must have something to do with the type of bacteria that lives there. Despite this, it is still safe to swim in the water, which is now a well-liked tourist attraction. Although it's challenging to reach the lake, the journey will be rewarding if you can. Number 8. The Door to Hell. Derwez, Turkmenistan is home to one of the most frightening and awful tourist spots on the earth for all of the horror-loving adventure enthusiasts out there. The Darvaza gas crater, also called the Door to Hell, has a 226-foot diameter and a 98-foot depth. Soviet engineers thought the crater was an oil location when it was originally found in 1971. The ground fell into what is now known as the Door to Hell just as they started surveying the area in preparation for drilling. The crater was then kept blazing by scientists to prevent the release of toxic gases, while the Turkmenistan government believes that eventually the location would draw lots of tourists. Number 7. Hum of Taos. Strange noises are nothing new, but the weird hum that permeates the sleepy village of Taos has perplexed residents for years. The noise was originally brought to Congress' attention in 1993 by a group of locals. Joe Mullins, an engineering professor at the University of New Mexico, surveyed in response to the excessive noise. Mullins conducted interviews with Taos residents and discovered that just 2% of people claimed to have heard the sound. Mullins noticed that the hearers of the hum gave varying accounts of the sound, even though the source of the noise was never identified. Some people heard a hum, while others heard a buzz or whir. Number 6. Circles of Namibia. To see this strange cluster of red circular patches on the desert floor of Namibia, you must travel to South Africa's Atlantic coast. Scientists have been investigating the origin of these spots for years. These fairy circles, which can span anywhere from 5 to 130 feet in diameter, are best seen from a bird's-eye perspective. These circles have an odd low magnetism, which is one peculiar characteristic. When you move a magnet across the circle, it will gather soil more densely inside the circle than outside of it. Hodoterms mozambicus, starving termites, are thought by some experts to be the origin of the circles, while Euphorbia damarana, a poisonous bush, has also been proposed as a possible cause. According to another theory, competition for water creates the patterns. More rainfall collects in the bare patches of the ground, where it may easily be accessed by the grass that is growing along the circle's perimeter. Whatever the case, these fairy rings are undoubtedly enigmatic. Number 5. The Nazca Lines of Peru. If you haven't heard of a geoglyph before, it is a sizable design made of either a collection of lines etched into the ground, negative geoglyphs, or a combination of materials, positive geoglyphs. The Nazca lines in Peru are a group of geoglyphs that were carved deeply into the ground of the Nazca Desert. They are arguably the most famous geoglyphic collection. They are thought to have been created sometime between 500 BC and 500 AD. Animals, vegetation, and a string of straight lines that span the landscape are among the geoglyphs in this group. Although viewing the Nazca lines from an aircraft or helicopter is recommended, parts of the patterns may also be observed from the foothills. The lines, according to scientific speculation, have something to do with the Nazca people and their astrological roots. Number 4. Movil Cave. This Romanian cave has been closed off to the outside world for the past 5.5 million years, and it wasn't until 1986 that it was discovered by workers looking for a new location to erect a nuclear power station. Although one may assume that the cave's circumstances would render it inhospitable, scientists were able to discover 48 different species, 33 of which are specifically adapted to the cave. Living there, numerous spider species, scorpions, centipedes, leeches, and isopods were among the organisms discovered. The species lack sight since the cave is so dark. Good luck getting there if a pitch-black cave with scorpions and leeches seems like your idea of fun in the sun. The cave has only ever been visited by less than 100 individuals. Number 3. The Ringing Rocks of Pennsylvania. Some rocks in Pennsylvania have an enigmatic musical capacity, despite being heavy, uninteresting, and inert. The sonorous rocks, also referred to as the Ringing Rocks of Pennsylvania, emit a distinct metallic clang when struck. People frequently doubt whether or not the rocks are formed of stone because the sound is so perplexing. About 7 to 8 acres of Pennsylvania's Ringing Rocks County Park are covered by these singing rocks. The origin of these boulders is a bit of a puzzle. Geologists examined the rocks and discovered that they were made of diabase, a volcanic rock made of iron and other hard elements. This rock family's location at the top of a hill is perhaps the oddest aspect, as fields of rocks often form as a result of a landslide. Number 2. Hessdalen Lights. Picture yourself gazing up at the night sky in Norway and spotting a massive ball of light gliding along the range of mountains, when in reality, it's simply one of many mysterious orbs that appear along the Hessdalen Valley in central Norway. It can appear to be a scene from The Wizard of Oz. The lights, which are about the size of a vehicle, may be seen above and below the horizon and come in bright white, yellow, or red forms. Typically, they are visible for anywhere between a few seconds to an hour. Although reports of the lights date back to the 1930s, the 1980s saw the highest sightings, with up to 20 sightings each week. There used to be a huge car-sized ball of light that would draw tourists from all over the world to the mountains, but that has since stopped happening. Oddly, just 10 to 20 observations have been reported yearly since 2010, on average. Number 1. Lake Karachay. The world's most contaminated area right now is Lake Karachay, which is situated in southern Russia's Ural Highlands. A radiation dose of 600 Roentgen would have easily been enough to kill you in 1990 if you had simply stood next to the lake for an hour. It's less than ideal location. The Mayak Production Association, one of Russia's largest nuclear facilities, is the cause of the pollution. The leftovers of the Russian government's nuclear meltdowns were dumped into the river for years. Up until 1990, Mayak was kept a secret, but by that time, the Chelyabinsk region had already seen a 21% rise in cancer diagnosis, a 25% increase in birth abnormalities, and a 41% rise in leukemia cases. To hide the presence of the facility, doctors branded the radiation-related illnesses that afflicted 65% of the locals as special diseases. Thank you for watching to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more interesting ones. Goodbye.